Okay, good morning, everyone. Today's session is people management and it's learning outcome 2. Today we're carrying on from last week. So my name's Shazia Khan and I'm the tutor for this module. Last week we looked at learning outcome 1 and a little bit of learning outcome 2. We looked at learning outcome 1, which was to do with understanding communication practices within organisations. We looked at 1.1, which was to analyse the benefits of effective communication to organisations, and 1.2 was analyse procedures and policies that are used to enhance communication within organisations. We also looked within that session, we looked at the different communication processes and the barriers to effective communication. And also we looked at the different types of barriers in regards to effective communication. We looked at non-verbal communication, psychological barriers, and also things like special barriers to organisational structures. We also then looked at part of learning outcome 1 was the 1.3, which was outlining legislation relevant to communications within an organisation, and 1.4, which was to evaluate how the organisational structure impacts on communication methods. And we looked at formal and social structure. We looked at things like the issue with social media, Data Protection Act. We looked at handling information, so the Freedom of Information Act. So this was all in regards to learning outcome 1. So we completed learning outcome 1, and then we started with the learning outcome 2, firstly starting with the understanding the principles of effective communication, and we looked at teamwork and what is a team. We also looked at team building and the different factors that were involved in building a good team. We also looked at the issue relating to the team life cycle and the different signs of the life cycle in regards to understanding the principles of effective teamwork. We're going to carry on now with the second part of the slides, which were in regards to teamwork as well, and how to form a teamwork and the different stages for developing a teamwork. So I'm just going to share the slides with you now. And we did finish on team slide 14, which was building. Let me just have a look. So we dealt with factors critical for strong teams, and then we're on slide 15, which looks at basic team skills. Okay, so today's session we'll be looking at the basic team skills, and we'll be finishing off learning outcome 2, and then tomorrow we'll be starting on learning outcome 3. So in regards to just going back to what teamwork is and why it's so important, in regards to, you know, that we define it as a partner with a partner and make a list of what makes a winning team. So it's a small group of people, committed people who can change the world. That was a definition by Margaret Mead in regards to working as a team and trying to establish what a good team is. So the basic team skills that we're going to look at, the following features are fundamental to a good team work. So firstly, trust. Trust is very important because it makes sure that you meet all the commitments and maintain confidentiality when required. Coaching is another fundamental feature because using your skills, knowledge and experience to assist others or ask for help. Also sharing information to assist others do their job properly. Flexibility is another feature which shows a willingness to cooperate and help others when possible. And good manners, so doing small, simple things thanking colleagues for their help, because that's really important in, in any sort of teamwork to, thank people for what they're doing, but also identify that they're doing some sort of work well. Team communication. So teams need to master 3 types of communication. So the team members need to communicate well with each other. They rely on each other's work. They're each other's internal customers. So it's really, really important that you work together with your team, because you're able to establish a good rapport, but also able to do your work well and communicate with each other well. The next one is the team needs to communicate well with other teams at work. These are also internal customers. So not just your own team, but also other teams at work you need to be able to communicate well with. And the team has to communicate directly with external customers. So how you deal with customers outside, communication is really important, using the use of language, your persona, how you talk. It's very, very important to the external customer outside. Communication behaviors. So you've got to be assertive. You've got to show that you're assertive. You're able to do things. You're able to identify things. Listening responsively, because when you listen, you'll be able to kind of identify what the needs are, what you need to do. If you're just on your phone and not listening to what's been said, and you're moving away from that kind of behavior, then you will get things wrong. Speaking confidently, that's important, because you need to able to identify that you know what you're doing, but you're able to identify that you're confident in doing stuff. Contributing to decisions, so any decisions that come up with any sort of other team members, you're able to contribute and able to advise, give recommendations, because it's really important. Communication choices. So aggressive is categorized by anger, blame, and insensitivity to others. So try to be more sensitive to others' feeling and try to understand others' feelings. Dominating is bossy and puts people's backs up, so try to be more less dominating. Passive lets other trample all over you. Restraint may be offensive but does not fully take part in a team. Assertive is the one in the middle, the one to aim for in communicating with people in your team. Very important, assertive. So assertiveness. Communicates clearly and honestly. Expect that he has as much rights as anyone else in the team to be heard. Can say no. Respects and listens to others. Admits to errors without feeling that he or she has lost face. Knows he or she deserves respect, and gives the same rights to others as he or she claims for himself. So, it's a give and take thing. You expect respect, you should give respect as well, and you should try to, admit if you've got anything wrong. Also, you should listen. Listening is very important, and that goes on to the next one, listening responsively. So listening is part of assertive behavior. Aggressive always talks. Assertive listens and talks appropriately, and passive always listens. So you should be able to, listen to what someone is saying and talk appropriately back to them. How can you use questions to check that you have understood? Ask questions, say if something is confusing you, say, should I do it like this? Should I do it like that? Bring in ideas and recommendations, and this is how you will check that you understand something. And ask questions, it's very important. Speak confidently. So team members contribute with honesty and integrity, even though they disagree. Be assertive, but consider what you say may be crucial or may be wrong. Play the ball, but not the person. So disagree with an idea, not the person who thought of it. If you disagree, you can bring in recommendations and say, I think it should be done this way. You need to speak confidently, but not be abrupt and aggressive as well. Acknowledge other people's ideas and contributions and build on them. So take on board what people are saying, not just, your own ideas. Take on board, it may be an idea that you've given, but they've elaborated and added on to it. Speak with enthusiasm, not emotion. Confidently, speak confidently, not struggling to speak and struggling to identify your ideas. You need to be confident. As a speaker, you need to be able to be confident, you need to be assertive, and you need to listen. Okay, these are the things that are very important. Stakeholders' expectations. What does an organization want from the people it puts together in a team? It wants good teamwork. It wants people that can bring in ideas. It wants new, fresh ideas. It wants people to contribute with each other and work well as a team. What do fellow workers want? Well, they want someone they can work with. They don't want someone who's abrupt, aggressive, not listening to their ideas. They want to be able to work together as a team. And what do customers want? And they're the most external people outside that we need to please. So they want people that know about their product. They want people to be able to talk to if they have any issues. They want to be able to ask questions. So they want to be the ones that, that you please. These are the customers that you please. You need to be able to identify that you're able to talk to these customers, have confidence, listen to them, take on board what they're saying. How could you prevent this from being achieved? I mean, what could prevent this from being achieved? You acting abruptly, you not working in a good team, you not being able to listen, you not being able to answer questions. These can prevent these from, being a good team. Conflict resolution. Because of an inability to resolve conflict resolution, the team may splinter and subgroups may form. So, it's like, you want to stick to someone who knows something, and then, that person may not be, you may not be able to get on with them. And so what happens is groups tend to separate and have their own little groups. Anticipate conflict, know why it arises, and have personal and team strategies to deal with it. Importance of protocols to manage conflict and other problems. Don't blame the people, blame the system. Team leadership. So identify one or more you think is a good leader. What is it about leadership that you admire? You need a good leader, and you need a good leader to run everything. What is a good leader? Leader is who's confident, who's able to work together with everyone, who's able to listen, who's able to participate, who's able to help, who's able to advise, who's able to work together as a team well. Do team leaders have to be great people? No, they don't. Team leaders have to be strong leaders and be able to lead a team, but also listen to the team, cooperate with the team, share ideas with the team, acknowledge that they are your team, and always, give your own ideas as well. You should cooperate in the team, but also you should praise the team. It's very important that you praise the team. Comparison of an effective leader versus an ineffective leader. So an effective leader, like I said, would cooperate with the group, would be able to lead the group. An ineffective leader would make conflict between members of the group, not be able to, take on board others' ideas, would want to only use their own ideas. So it's really, really important as a team leader, you're able to maintain your group's ideas, your team's ideas, not just have your own ideas, because your ideas may be good, but then you may have a team member that may be a specialist in that area that you want to that person wants to help, but you're not allowing it, and that's an ineffective team. So a team leader must be a professional in charge of things like guiding, monitoring, and leading an entire group. They should motivate their teammates as well as inspiring any sort of positive communication within them so they can work together. And the main thing for a team leader is, to achieve their goals. That's what it is. So guidance, instructions, directions, trying to achieve the key goal that they are doing, trying to get. They must have leadership. They must be honest as well. A good leader must be honest. Honesty, integrity, humanity, really, really important elements and qualities of a good team leader. And also, they must know their own self-belief and achieve the goals in the time given. So there must be a good a good leader must have strengths as well as weaknesses. Communication is a big strength that they need to do within their group. Team maintenance. Sorry. So team maintenance is coming together is a beginning, working together is a process, and staying together is a triumph. How can we support, nurture, or reinforce effective teams? So identify maintenance actions. So any action points that, teams are not getting on, or any sort of issues with communication, or teams being, moving away, and trying to identify that, how to maintain a good team to meet the end target. Leadership and leadership styles. So what is leadership? Influencing people so that they will strive willingly towards the achievement of a group of people. Okay, so leadership, it has different meanings, different styles, sometimes the action of leading a group of people or an organization could be another definition that you could use. It is a leader, in simple words, is the one in charge, the person who convinces other people to follow. A great leader inspires confidence in its own people and its own team and moves them to action. Analysis of leadership effectiveness. So firstly, to define and measure some criteria of organizational effectiveness. To assess leadership style of organizations, leaders. And 3, to attempt to correlate organizational performance with leadership styles. How important is a leader? In most cases, people will perform at 60% of their potential with no leadership at all. Thus, an additional 40% can be realized if effective leadership is available. The 2 dimensions of management. So there's one with economic or productivity based, which is concern for production. Number 2 is employer condition and morale. So that's concern for people. The 2 dimensions of management. These can also be thought of initiating structure. So to initiate a structure is to get it done. And consideration, so the human condition. Styles of leadership, so consideration, initiating structure, and the consideration. So this graph shows how you'd initiate the structure and then the consideration where the X's are placed. Styles of leadership, so it's the concern for people, and then we've got the leader, laissez-faire leader, and autocratic leader, and then we've got the team leader and benevolent leader. Which styles of leadership works best? So team leader is Z, has proven to be most effective in general. 9.9 requires a balancing act of getting things done and having a genuine concern for people. Certain situations, special situations may acquire other styles, making the atom bomb. Theory L, which is the laissez-faire leadership. So this is uninvolved, leave them alone. And then we've got C's main role as passer of information. Let's others make decisions, basically abdicates responsibility for team or the unit. So, in trying to basically, abdicate responsibility for team unit doesn't always work. If, here leaders who embrace this kind of leadership give nearly all the authority to their employees and don't often interject unless the situation calls for it. Laissez-faire leaders make employees accountable for their work. This gives many employers an incentive to do their best. This type of leader often creates a more relaxed company culture. This makes it a good model for creative businesses like ad agency or product design. It's also a good fit for business with a highly skilled team. Then you've got the theory X, which is the autocratic leader, which lacks flexibility, controlling and demanding. So, they want to control the situation. They're quite demanding. The carrot and stick approach, and it's focused solely on productivity. And in this leadership style, the leader makes decisions without taking input from anyone, which reports to them. So it's literally doesn't work with the employers. The other team members. This style is most useful when a business needs to control specific situations, not as a standalone leadership. So it wouldn't work that way. And then you've got autocratic leaders carry out strategies and directives with absolute focus. So when a situation calls for it, an authoritative leader can make a quick best fit decision for a business without needing to get additional input. They are solely focused on productivity, not on the teamwork. So this is something that's one that's not kind of well, some leaders don't actually like this one, this kind of leadership. Then we've got the next one, which is the benevolent leader, theory Y. And this is just a minute. This is a very people-oriented kind of leadership, encouraging its team leaders, organizes around people, can be paternalistic, and country club atmosphere, so it's not competitive. Then we've got theory Z, which is the team leader. And this is balances production and people issues, builds a working team of employers, and a team approach here involves subordinates. Organization is a vehicle for carrying out plans. So this is theory Z. Then results of leadership. So theory L, missing management, very low productivity. Theory X, my way or the highway, literally, what I want, you will do that way. Job stress, low satisfaction, unions tend to form. Theory Y, country club, so low achievement, good people leave. Theory Z, good manager, high productivity, cooperation, low turnover, employee commitment. Origins of leadership. So both evidence that both inherent personality and environment are factors. So what kind of leader would you be? So summary, to learn to identify style of your manager. If possible, seek a theory Z environment, more common in recent years. Get management training. Inherent leadership styles can be changed, but takes effort. Leadership style, so coercive, modus operandi, demands immediate compliance. The style in a phrase, do what I tell you. Underlying emotional intelligence, drive to achieve, initiate, self-control. When style works best in a crisis, to kick start a turnaround or the problem with employees. Overall impact on climate, which is negative. Leadership style, authoritative. So this is modus operandi, mobilizes people towards a vision. The style in a phrase, come with me. Underlying emotional intelligence, self-confidence. Empathy, change catalyst. When style works best, when changes require new vision or a clear direction is needed. The overall impact on climate is that mostly strong positive. So democratic leadership. The modus operandi, it forges consensus through participation. The style in a phrase is, what do you think? Underlying emotional intelligence, collaboration, team leadership, communication. When the style works best is to build buy-in or consensus or to get input from valuable employers. The overall impact on climate is positive. The leader in democratic leadership makes decisions based on each team member's input, which helps a lot. Although the leader makes the final call, each employer has an equal say in a project's direction, which is a good way to work. The democratic leadership style resembles how leaders often make decisions in company board meetings. For example, a democratic leader might give the team a few decision-related options in a company board meeting. They can then open a discussion about each option. After a discussion, this leader might consider the board's thoughts and feedback, or they might open this decision up to a vote. So that's literally a good example to use in a board meeting. And the democratic leadership style is one of the most effective because it encourages everyone to participate in all processes, share their opinions, and know that you will hear them. It also encourages employees to be engaged because they know you will hear their feedback, and team members feeling like they have space to participate and increase employee empowerment, motivation, and participation. So this is quite a good leadership style. The next one is affiliative. The modus operandi for this is that it creates harmony and builds emotional bonds. The style in a phrase is people come first. Underlying emotional intelligence, so empathy building, relationships, communication. And when does the style work best? To heal rifts in a team or to motivate people during stressful circumstances. The overall impact on climate is quite a positive impact. The next one is pace. Pace is setting. And the modus operandi for this, it sets a high standard of performance. The style in a phrase is do as I do now. And the underlying emotional intelligence is conscientiousness, drive to achieve, initiative. And when does the style work best? To get quick results from a highly motivated and competent team. The overall impact on climate is a negative impact. Coaching leadership. The modus operandi for this is that develops people for the future. The style in a phrase is try this, which works well. And then underlying emotional intelligence, so developing other people's empathy, self-awareness. And when the style works is to help employee improve performance or develop long-term strengths. The overall impact on climate, is positive, and a coaching leader focuses on identifying and nurturing, as we mentioned, the individual strengths of each member of the team and developing strategies that will enable teams to work better together. The style is similar to strategic and democratic leadership, but emphasizes individual employers' success. A manager with this kind of leadership, which is the coaching leadership style, might help employees improve on their strengths by giving them new tasks to try, offering them guidance, but also meeting to discuss constructive feedback. They might also encourage one or more team members to expand on their strengths by learning new skills from other teammates. Coaching leaders actively support skill development and independent problem solving. They meet ambiguous business goals by creating a strong company culture and to a business's long-term vision as a valuable mentor, often even after leaving the company. This coaching style of leadership can motivate employers as they feel supported on the team. It recognizes that each employer is unique and can build diverse and exciting teams where each employer offers something different. In this, the leader focuses on high performance with employers that can communicate well and embrace unique skill sets to get the work done. It's quite a good leadership style. So the lesson, so different strokes for different folks. The leaders must be flexible and change their styles according to the situation and the purpose, the people, and situational leadership. Old style against the new style. So the heroic old style is managers are important. Managers are important people, quite apart from others who develop products and deliver services. The higher up these managers go, the more important they become. At the top, the chief executive is the corporation, and the new style, which is the engaging managers, are important to the extent that they have other people who develop their products and deliver services to be important. And number two, an organization is an interacting network, not a vertical hierarchy. Effective leaders work throughout, they do not sit on top. And this was, the reference to this is Henry Mitzberg, Managers Not MBAs, 2004, San Francisco, Barrett Kohler Publishers. Heroic, we've gone to the next bit of it, which is number 3. Down the hierarchy comes the strategy, clear, deliberate and bold, emanating from the chief who takes the dramatic acts. Everyone else implements. Number 4, implementation is the problem, because while the chief embraces change, most others resist it. That is why outsiders must be favoured over insiders. And engaging the new idea is that number 3 is out of the network emerge strategies. As engaged people solve little problems that grow into big initiatives. Number 4, implementation is the problem because it cannot be separated from the formulation. That is why committed insiders are still necessary to resist ill-considered changes imposed from above and without. And we carry on with that. The heroic side of it, the old one, is number 5. To manage is to make decisions and allocate resources, including those human resources. Managing thus means analysing, often calculating based on facts in reports. Number 6, rewards for increased performance go to the leadership. What matters is what's measured. And engaging, and against the heroic one. Number 5, to manage is to bring out the positive energy that exists naturally within people. Managing thus means engaging based on judgment, rooted in the context. Number 6, rewards for making the organization a better place to go to everyone. Human values matter, few of which can be measured. And then finally, number 7 for both heroic, which is the old style, is number 7, leadership is thrust upon those who thrust their will on others. And the engaging with the new leadership is number 7, leadership is a sacred trust earned from the respect of others. The difference per Manfred and Kester Vries, So for managers, their focus is on the present, prefers stability, orients towards the short term, focuses on procedure, asks what and how, prefers to control, is happy in complexity, uses the rationale mind, works with the context of the organization and the business. The leader, he looks toward the future, appreciates change, orients toward the long term, engages in a vision, asks why and what, knows how to delegate, prefers to simplify, trusts intuition, and takes social and environmental context into consideration. So the difference here for John Cotter on managers, roles and responsibilities, they're planning, budgeting, organising, staffing, guiding, reassuring, monitoring and controlling. And the objectives are that it leads to predictability, order, consistency, zero deviations, stable performance and short-term results. The difference in regards to John Cotter on leaders, so that was on that side, managers, and this is leaders. The roles and responsibility is seeing, visioning, strategizing, risking, enrolling, inspiring, performing and delegating. And the objectives are for leaders are vision, strategies, challenge, risk, action, leaders, movement, energy, passion and change. So we've now finished this session on the different types of leadership and also the different types of what identifies the principles of an effective teamwork. And we looked at the different types of factors for strong teamworks, the different types of ways to build a good teamwork, and also define what a good teamwork is. We also looked at the different different factors that identified a good teamwork, things like leadership, membership, climate, objective, achievement, work methods, communications, and different characteristics as well, like regular working sessions, tackling your own problems, the openness, honesty and risk-taking. We also looked at different leadership styles in regards to how leadership works, and the different styles that are adopted by different people. So, you know, autocratic styles, and what is the examples of autocratic style, theory Z, which is the team leader. We looked at the issue of the two dimensions of management. We also looked at the issue of positivity in regards to the different the learning styles and the leadership and learning styles. And we identified a good leader, because it's really important when you look at leadership, you must have a good leader in place, and you must be able to, you know, have a leader that's able to resolve any sort of disputes or conflicts between other team members, and the different types of team communication as well. Like we said, there were 3 types of team communication that identified how teams work together. Also, basic team skills we looked at. And we looked at the origins of leadership. So we finished the session now on learning outcome 2, and tomorrow we'll be doing the session on learning outcome 3. So there's additional resources on Moodle that you can go to have a look at, and also I will see you in tomorrow's session. Thank you.